Mighty MERP is a production of the Law Office of Melissa Rosenblum and the Niche Podcast Network. Wouldn't you love a backstage pass to candid discussions at the crossroads of motherhood, justice, community, entrepreneurship, mentoring, and success? Host Melissa Rosenblum is one of only a few women certified by the Supreme Court of New Jersey as a criminal trial attorney. When you add kids, a booming law business, and a little black book full of subject matter experts, you've got the Mighty MERP podcast. Mighty MERP is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your favorite apps and players. But the best way to experience the show is to visit mightymerp.com. That's mightymerp.com.
Welcome back to the Mighty MERP podcast. This is your host, Melissa Rosenblum, and I am excited to talk to another local female attorney whose name is Ava Murray. Ava Murray graduated from Nova Southeastern University in 2010 with a Bachelor of Science in Paralegal Studies. While attending Nova Southeastern, she was inducted into Delta Epsilon Iota Academic Honor Society. She attended Nova Southeastern University Shepherd Broad College of Law, graduating in 2017. During law school, she was a Phi Alpha Delta member and Pulse, the Health Law Student Society. After successfully passing the multi-state bar exam in 2019, Ava began her legal career with Marks O'Neill, O'Brien, Dougherty, and Kelly in the Cherry Hill, New Jersey office. She was an associate working for Medical Malpractice Division, where she defended nursing homes and medical professionals. During the height of the pandemic in 2020, Ava opened her own law firm called the Murray Law Group. Her practice areas are real estate, personal injury, and criminal defense. Welcome, Ava.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm so excited that we finally are able to talk. I know that we've been scheduling and rescheduling due to your schedule and my busy schedule. And so I'm excited that we were finally able to connect.
I am too, and I appreciate you inviting me to be on your podcast.
Yeah, so I love the fact that you started your own law firm in 2020, really in the height of the pandemic. But before we get to talk about being an owner of a law firm, opening up a law firm, and how you ended up there, tell me a little bit about your origin story, pretty much where you grew up. You can start from the beginning, whether you always knew you wanted to be a lawyer, and sort of how you, decided to take the journey of law school.
Okay. Well, I'm an immigrant. I am actually born in Jamaica. I came to the United States when I was, I think, about 6 years old. Lived in Brooklyn, New York for quite some time. Then I moved to Florida. I spent most of my teenage years in Florida. Like I said, I went to undergrad at Florida and law school in Florida. I have always known I wanted to be an attorney. I've known since I was 7 years old. However, I didn't take the traditional route, high school, undergrad, law school, because I became a mom at a very early age. So my focus was my son up until he was about 7 years old. And then I decided to, pursue my dreams and went to law school. And here I am today after a lot of, taking time off from school because I wanted to focus on my son. He wasn't doing well in school. It was a lot of perseverance, but I did it, and here I am today.
Did you work as a paralegal for a time period when you were younger?
I did. I started out actually as a legal assistant. I think I was maybe like 23 years old when I became a legal assistant initially, and then I moved up the ranks to a paralegal. So I was a paralegal for maybe 6 years, and that included my 4 years of law school.
So so you didn't go straight to college either? Is that
I,
the
I, di-
delay?
I did not, right? When I was pregnant with my son, I actually um, took courses at home, and I got my associate's degree in business administration. And then I took a significant period of time off to be a mom. So for the first four years, I didn't go to school at all. I just focused on him. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 2 of those 4 years. And then I think he was maybe like 3.5, almost 4 years old, I think, when I applied to undergrad and got in.
And during that time when he was that little, were you also working in an undergrad or just a
I
full,
was,
which is,
yeah.
by the way, as a mom, when I say just a mom, that I know everything that comes with that. I have 4 children. I've been a full-time mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I've been a working mom. So there is no like taking away from that job.
Oh yeah, I know. I understand that. I worked throughout my entire collegiate career. I've never taken time off. Um, I worked full time when I was an undergrad, and then I was also a full time single mom. I worked full time while I was in law school, and I was a full time single mom. Matter of fact, my last year in law school, not only did I work full time, I was actually in law school full time because I had to catch up one semester. My dad was sick, and I took an entire semester off, and I wanted to graduate with my class. So I worked full time and went to school full time the last year of law school.
Wow. I mean, and so truthfully, how hard was that? I mean,
Oh my goodness. I don't even know if there's a word in the English dictionary to really describe the difficulties that came along with that. My son, I believe when I graduated law school, my son was in the 7th grade. And as you know, Melissa, at that age, there's a huge shift, especially for boys. They kind of become a little bit more difficult. Um, so, and besides waking up really early to get him dressed for school, taking him to school, and then rushing off to work, and actually in the middle of the workday, my wonderful bosses allowed me to take a class in the middle of the workday.
mhm.
I had class from 12:30 um, p.m. until 3 p.m. Then I would have to rush back to the office, work until 6, and then rush back to school to get to school by 6:30. And then I wasn't done with my day until about 11:30 at school, and then get home, and then started that entire process over again every day for an entire year of law school. It was really difficult.
Yeah, I cannot even really imagine, but it definitely goes to show that your perseverance and commitment of knowing what your end goal was. Did you have family support? Were you,
I did, and that was the great thing. So sometimes if I wasn't able to pick my son up from school, my sister stepped in, my mom stepped in. So, anything I've ever done in my life that was difficult, I couldn't have gotten through it without my family. I mean, like, they literally are my backbone.
that's amazing. And it's great that in the end it took a village to get you through law school and to help raise your son.
Absolutely. It absolutely did.
How did you end up in New Jersey or back
Oh my
or end up in New Jersey?
So I love the Northeast. I love the seasons. When we moved to Florida, it wasn't like, oh, let's move to Florida. It was circumstances beyond our control. So I always knew I would end up back here. In the Northeast. I thought I would always be a Brooklynite, but that wasn't the case. I fell in love with someone, and he lives in Philadelphia. So I figured that, New Jersey was close enough to Philly and close enough to Brooklyn, which is still in my heart, was a good spot to be. So I chose New Jersey.
That's why I'm in South Jersey, and exactly that reason. I'm from
Uh,
North Jersey originally, and so, grew up 10 miles out of from New York City, and I didn't even know there was a real South Jersey until I got till I got married, but that's how I ended up down here. That's very funny. So the law firm that you started at, I always ask whether that is, it was my first job and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Did you know what type of law you wanted to practice, or were you open to anything when you graduated and were looking for jobs?
I knew I wanted to practice civil. I thought I wanted to be a personal injury. I should say I've always wanted to be a personal injury attorney, especially for medical malpractice. That's one of the reasons why in law school I was part of the Pulse organization, which basically focuses on the medical aspect of the law. However, Marks O'Neill fell into my lap because while I was in law school, I worked at a law firm that also practiced insurance defense. So because I had such an extensive background as a paralegal, helping attorneys with insurance defense matters, this firm I thought was the best fit for me at the time. And I honestly thought I would be there still to this day, but it just didn't work out that way.
And so what made you take the leap in 2020 to open up your own law firm? Because what I find amazing on this is you were practicing maybe 2 years when you decided to open up your firm?
Yes.
And, I jokingly say I was practicing 21 to 22 years and opened up my own law firm while everyone was saying, open up your firm, go fly. And I was like, I'm not ready to fly yet.
Yeah. And I was ready. I was ready to fly. I was so unhappy with the way things are with insurance defense firm. Is like you don't really practice law because you have to answer to so many people in regards to what to do with the case. Like the adjusters have their own opinions, and I was a first almost 2-year associate, so my opinion about a case really didn't matter. And I felt like I was not practicing law. I still felt like a paralegal. So I said to myself, like, I'm just really unhappy. And to be honest, Melissa, I didn't want to live my life billing. Like, billing was more important is more important in an insurance defense firm than actually practicing law. And that's my opinion, obviously. And I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to practice law. I wanted to draft a motion the way I felt fit. I wanted to argue the way I felt fit. I didn't want to go through all the yellow, red, purple, orange tape to resolve a case. So I just wanted to leave. And I chose to open my own firm because I wanted to do things my way. And I knew that if I went with another firm, it would probably be the same issue. And I would probably have found another job at an insurance defense firm. And again, I would not be happy. So I just wanted to break the cycle early on.
Well, it's great that you did, because I know that you're having a very successful practice in 2 years. Now, you do real estate, personal injury, and criminal defense work. And I assume the personal injury now is plaintiff's personal injury.
Correct.
How did you decide to go the avenue of handling criminal defense work?
As a little girl, watching all those shows and seeing what show was it? Oh my God, I can't even remember the name of the show. But I do remember watching Ally McBeal and a couple of other shows with these high-powered attorneys. And it was just so much, it just seemed like so much fun going to the courtroom and arguing. And I wanted to do that. I really did. So that's why I decided to be a criminal defense attorney.
Should I date myself and say LA law? was LA.
Oh, LA Law. I think LA Law still comes on that what's that app called? Oh, I forgot the name of the app. But a lot of those older shows come on that app, like Magnum PI and stuff like that.
Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for the next part in this conversation. Mighty MERP is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your favorite apps and players. But the best way to experience the show is to visit mightymerp.com. That's mightymerp.com. This podcast is not a source of legal advice. No two legal cases are the same. Contact an attorney if you require legal assistance.